YouTube! How's it going, guys? Welcome to TPB's Tech-Bodge Emporium. Welcome to the video. In this one, guys, I know I'm a little late to the party. What's new? But the thing is, when I went to have a look at this, look, I was excited about DLSS 4.5, especially when I heard everyone talking about how much better it is with ghosting and stuff, which meant that there's a type of game that I've never really been able to use DLSS with because of the ghosting. I tell a lie, there are obviously occasions where I use DLSS with the 3060 because of, well, it was like have a little bit of ghosting on the car, but the rest of the world or the game look so much better than if I just dropped the settings down to like medium or something. So there were occasions where I would make sacrifices, but when I was at 1080p in these particular games, I would do the same thing that I'm doing now because of the ghosting. And that genre of gaming is any sort of third-person driving game, any game where there is third-person driving involved. That is, for some reason, none of them have been able to deal with it. It's really odd as well because each iteration of DLSS seems to have its own version of ghosting. Well, we're looking at two games today. We're going to be looking at Forza Horizon 5 and we're going to be looking at GTA 5. We're specifically the enhanced version because I like the ray tracing, but even with the legacy version, I would choose MSAA over DLSS every time because MSAA seems to be the only one that seems to be able to deal with the ghosting in any sort of proficient way, because every other kind of upscaling or anti-aliasing, it deals with the exact same thing. Now, I'm going to say this now, all of the DLSS models that we're going to be using in this video are all set at DLAA, so they're all native. But basically, both Forza Horizon 5 and GTA 5 enhanced, both games realistically I've not used DLSS technology in because of the ghosting. So again, like I said, C&M model that had more of like it was kind of like a smudgy shadow that would ghost like a trail sometimes in these sort of games. And then moving up to the Transformer model, it was different. The ghosting's completely different because that smudging thing was kind of mostly gone. It was almost like an invisible version of it. I know it sounds weird, but genuinely, it would still be there, but sort of far muted down. But you would get this, you'll see, you get this thing where it starts to drag the colours from the back bumper below the car, and you get this sort of ghosting underneath. You'll see in there, and then obviously, so I was excited about DLSS 4.5. I was excited. I thought, so I jumped into the game, and at first it looked absolutely freaking awesome. I didn't notice anything. I thought, oh my god, they fixed the ghosting. This looks amazing. The world looks so much cleaner and sharper, and it just felt better in Forza. So I was like, right, just had a quick sort of scoot around, and then I thought, right, I'll film a video on this because this looks freaking awesome. And I started filming the video. And then I noticed it, and then I noticed how prolific it was as well whilst I was filming the video, because I was like, what the fuck is that? So you'll see what I mean afterwards, like. But basically, if you're looking for some sort of like hate on Nvidia, you're gonna get a little bit of it, because this isn't completely positive towards the new model. Like I said, I was excited for DLSS 4.5, and then this happened. But stay tuned till the end of the video because the conclusion's a little bit surprising, and we're gonna have a look at another aspect of it. But I feel like no one tried a third-person driving situation with DLSS 4.5 at Nvidia. in all honesty. And it's kind of weird that I've not seen anyone else report this, because you would have thought that all of the, you know, AMD botherers would have come crawling out of the background if this happened. But we'll see what happens there. Anyway, like I said, we're going to do Forza Horizon 5 first, and then we'll have a look at GTA 5. Then I'll come up with a conclusion. I'll give you an answer to it. But essentially, the side-by-sides going in are all going to be I haven't got the CNN model up. All I've done is I've got Model K, I've got Model M, and I've got what I, up to this point, would have recommended, certainly with the 5070 Ti at 1440p, in both these games, which is on Forza Horizon 5, it's MSAA times 8. It gives you the best sort of, no ghosting, and it was the best sort of image without the ghosting. And then over on GTA Enhanced, because MSAA got taken away, it is the super sampling. And essentially at 1440p, I super sample it up to 4K to do the anti-alias in the game. But we'll get onto that and we'll have a look at that afterwards. Shall we hop into the first game? What we'll do is we'll have a quick look at the system, and then we'll jump into the settings for Forza, and then we'll do the side-by-sides. I'm going to watch the side-by-sides with you. Should we jump into it? Right, okay guys, I'll just quickly go through the system so you know what we're using. I am on a 5070 Ti. It is a Gamewood Phoenix Golden Sample flavour of the GPU. It's got all its ROPs. And I am pairing that with a 12900KS with 32 gigs of DDR4, 4000 mega transfers per second. Hey look, it is what it is, you know. I have a board for it. I just gotta wait for the DDR5 to come down to a sensible price, at least close to a sensible price. It's not even close to a sensible price as it stands. So DDR4 it is. Anyways, 12900KS with 32 gigs of DDR4, 4000 mega transfers. I think it's CL18. So they're pretty quick DIMMs. And I am manually overclocking both of them. Over on the CPU on the 12900KS, all of the P cores are running at 5.4, and all of the E cores are running at 4.1. And over on the GPU, I am running 1.6 gigahertz on top of the speed of the VRAM, and it's an extra 200 to 300 megahertz on the core. So that being said, should we get into the first game? Right, okay guys, we'll just quickly run through the settings before we go into the splits. So guys, in Forza Horizon 5, we are using 1440p, everything's going to be native. In the settings, I've got the sharpness on DLSS turned down to 0. Also over on the graphics, we are completely maxed out. The only thing I have turned down is motion blur down to low, and the video has also got motion blur turned off and VSync turned off and everything. So yeah, that's what we're running. Right, okay guys, I'm going to be looking at these at the same time as you, and we'll talk through them. So over on the left is what I would recommend as up to this point. This is what I recommended. It does have its negatives, like if you quickly look at these frame frames, I'm not whether you're going to see it through here. You'll probably be able to see when I click over to start it, and you'll see them running. But if you have a look, the way that MSAA renders hedges is a little bit flat and a little bit pixelated, whereas like the hedges and stuff like that look a lot better over on the DLSS models. But MSAA gets rid of the ghosting. It does have a little bit more aliasing than over on the DLSS models, but it gets rid of the ghosting, so it's what I would have recommended up to this point, and obviously it gets far better frame rate than the others. If you notice, Model K knocks about 20 FPS off MSAA times 8, and then the Model M knocks another 20, 25 FPS off that. Like, so they are more intensive. Before we do start, actually, I want to just touch on that, because I find it bizarre when people hate on things for being more intensive. Like, for example, the new models of DLSS are doing more stuff, but the way I see it is, when I play a game, I want my GPU to be at full tilt. I want it to be giving its best effort. So if I then ask it to do the same thing but with more intense stuff going on, you know, more processing to get a better picture, I would expect that to maybe impact my frame rate a little bit. So I feel like with DLSS 4.5, it's kind of, if you've got the performance, if you've got the frame rate to spare. Like, for example, this is Forza Horizon 5. It does not need to be any quicker than like 120 FPS. You can play this game at 60 FPS and be fine. 90 is probably pretty much all you really need. So 120 with 110 lows is good enough for me. But know that you do get far better FPS over on MSAA. So shall we get this started? Right, so as you can see here, we are running through. Obviously most of it's going to be, you know, you looking at the actual raw footage. But if you have a look, as I said, the hedges and stuff on the MSAA are a little bit flat in comparison to the two DLSSs. The environment looks so much better, and it's like a step up with each level. But over on the Model K area, you'll see just here, I'm sure you're already seeing what's happening on the M, but over on the K you can see that it starts to drag the bumper down as like a ghost, and just starts to show up at the very bottom edge of the bumper. You can just see that lime green. The reason I used this car was because it shows up so prolifically. But if you look on an M, what the fuck is that, Nvidia? What the fuck is that? Once all this stuff gets out of the way, you'll see that it's literally a big black pixelated mess, which has got a enlarged ghost of the back bumper on it. Like, you can see the exhausts just underneath the 1440p there. That's why it sort of sees through, so it doesn't cover it too much. So yeah, again, more freaking ghosting. So I actually thought I was going to be jumping into this saying, oh, you should try the 4.5. Yes, it's a hit on the performance, but oh my god, the world looks so freaking amazing, and the ghosting's gone. But it hasn't freaking gone, has it? We've got a new type of ghosting. What the fuck is this that keeps showing up behind the car? Do you know what I mean? What is going on? So I can't, in any real honesty, recommend using Model K. The world does look good in it, but and you know, the aliasing's really good, but that ghosting that happens behind the car, as you can see it there, it's just not necessary. Now, and with Model M, what is that? What is that? It doesn't show up where the shadows are, but outside of the shadows, what is that going on? Do you know what I mean? So again, I thought that I was going to be having to recommend MSAA ×8, even though, you know, the hedges and stuff you can see here look a little bit flat, they're a little bit pixelated in the way they render in. You know, the worlds look so much better on the DLSS models, and the aliasing is so much better on those models, but the ghosting, guys, what is going on, Nvidia? Like, like I said, each type of DLSS seems to have its own type of ghosting. It's like you deal with the ghosting that everyone was complaining about. CNN, it was smudgy, so you kind of dealt with that. It kind of goes to a ghosty smudge, but it's still got this drag down thing that happens behind the back bumper. 4.5, you deal with that drag down thing, and now there's just some big black pixelated patch that shows up with a bit of the back bumper in it. Like, so no, I don't think 4.5 is the perfect answer. Don't get me wrong. As I said, the world looks freaking amazing with Model M. If you're sat still, wow. And do you know what? If you drive these sort of games in first person, like if you use a bonnet view or first person, you know, in cab and that, like, I'm going to say Model M's worth a hit. In fact, you could use K if you really wanted the extra performance, because you don't have any of these ghosting problems. If you only use bonnet view or something like that, you don't have any of these other problems. That being said, should we have a look at GTA? We're going to do the same sort of thing. It's going to be the same sort of side-by-sides. We'll just jump in and have a look at the settings first, and then we'll jump into the side-by-sides. So I will jump on now and we'll have a look at the settings. Alright guys, so in GTA 5 I'll just go through the settings with you. We are still at 1440p, 165Hz, frame limit is off, VSync is off, Nvidia is on with boost. All of the ray tracing settings are maxed out. Everything's on and turned up as high as I can get it. As you can see, everything here is completely turned up, and then obviously we're on DLA at the minute, but again sharpness is down to 0. Again, for the settings, obviously with the new model, don't need the extra sharpening. So yeah, the only other things that I change is I have the grass quality at very high, because I don't like the ultra grass, like I prefer it at very high. I don't like that sort of shadow that the ultra adds to the grass. It gives you sort of like this weird field pop in. It's really I don't like it. So I have the grass on very high. I try and keep sort of like a consistent image, and they look really nice on very high. So that's what I use there. Over in this section, we're under lighting. Now these are raster settings. Now what I do with these 3 raster settings, the lighting, the reflections and the shadow quality, is I reduce those down to normal. Now this doesn't change the way the game, in fact it makes the game look a little bit better in my eyes, because it allows the RT stuff to take over. Basically I'm just turning the raster stuff down that the RT stuff is doing. Like there's no need for the raster stuff if the RT stuff is doing it. So that also saves you like 15-20 FPS. Now the only place that I see any real issue with doing this in a visual way is, I'll show you now. It is the bathroom mirror in your gaff online. That's basically it. It's just the mirror in your bathroom whilst you're online. It does. I'll show you now. As you can see here, the mirror is actually pretty low res, but I can show you why that is. And if we just have a look at the reflection in the shower, which is ray traced, you will notice that the mirror isn't there. The reason the mirror isn't there is because that mirror is 100% rasterized. That everything else in the bathroom, every other reflection, everything else in the bathroom is ray traced, but that mirror is rasterized. So unless you're doing some super sampling or something, or you're running at 4K where it doesn't really matter so much, the reflection in that mirror is going to be a bit poor. But in my eyes, I would rather have a bit of a shitty mirror in a room in my gaff where I barely ever go, or and have an incredibly good looking world, than have the ray traced lighting and the bounces and stuff kind of covered up a little bit. I find that when you allow the ray tracing stuff to kind of take over all of the lighting and the shadows and stuff, then it just kind of adds to the sort of 3D-ness of the space. It makes you feel a bit more of a 3D space for me. Try it. You won't be disappointed. You also save yourself like 15-20 FPS. So some of that performance hit that ray tracing brings, you can scrape that back by turning off the stuff that is getting painted over the top of the ray tracing. Also, long shadows, you don't need them on. Just turn them off. I promise you. Just turn the long shadows off. You will never get a shadow pop in whilst the ray trace shadows are happening, because they are ray traced, which means they're already there. So everything in shot, as you will see in all of these, everything that is in shot has got a shadow, and there's no long shadows on in any of these side-by-sides. So just, I promise you, turn these 4 settings down and you save yourself some performance, and the game looks better. Trust me, I'm a YouTuber. I suppose I make videos. It's close enough, innit? Anyways, these are the settings that I run. Everything else is basically maxed out. Distance, scaling, population variety, all that, like everything's maxed out. The only thing, like I said, the only things I turn down is and I have post effects on normal, so I don't get all that in depth and motion blur and stuff, because I don't like it. So it turns all that off as well. So yeah, long shadows off. Turn all these 3 down to normal, and I promise you, it's just gonna look better. I would love to know what it's like on a 9060 XT, because it works really well on the 5070 Ti. Again, we're at 1440p with all of the RT on. Anyways, should we get into the side-by-sides? And we'll have a look, see if that problem persists. Spoiler, it does. But there's always a solution. Anyways, should we jump into the side-by-sides and have a look how it's handling it in this game? Yeah. So, in the side-by-sides here for GTA, over on the left-hand side here, we've got what up to now with a 5070 Ti at 1440p. What I would recommend that you did to reduce the ghosting as much as possible in this game, because literally GTA just ghosts on anything. Doesn't matter whether it's TAA. I could keep going through the list. The only one that was able to eliminate the ghosting to the max as a anti-aliasing solution was MSAA, but they removed it when they stepped up to the enhanced model. That being said, up to now, super sampling at 1.5, which takes you to up to 4K, is what I would have recommended to alias this game as 1440p with a 5070 Ti, because it gives you 1% lows that are 65, which is fine, and it's like an average of 100, which is more than enough for GTA. So, anyways, over on the right hand side, we've got Model K. Now the ghosting in Model K, it's kind of that sort of, it's very smudgy. You do get drag downs on the back bumper. This car doesn't actually show it quite as much as other cars, but it also builds as the game goes on. But as you can see here with Model M, I know it's at different times of the day. It's really difficult to get this game to freaking, like, I'm playing online here, and it's really difficult to get this game to behave itself and give me the same times of the day. So it is at night, but as you can see it. Is the problem still there with GTA? Yes, the problem is still there with GTA. In fact, the actual ghosting is kind of a bit more heavy, so when it does happen, you fully get a shot of those. Look, there you go, there they are, full shot of the exhausts in the road there. It's terrible, but the game, the world again looks so good with the DLSS models, all of them. The world looks so good, and I'm not being funny, guys, but with my settings, the RT and the lighting and the shading and the shadows, I mean, you will not see a shadow pop in on this game whilst you're watching this playthrough, because the shadows are just always there, and I haven't got long shadows on. So please just try my settings. I promise you, they look fucking awesome. Look at it, doesn't matter which settings you go with. So because of the ghosting, yet again, I thought that I was going to have to go into this and suggest, again, recommend realistically for GTA, super sampling it up a couple of levels to do the aliasing, and just calling it at that. It's not perfect. There are some twitchiness to it. It's not amazing, but it's really good. So I thought I was going to be going into this, and I thought I was going to have to tell you guys, look, Forza Horizon, you need to be using the MSAA ×4 or ×8, whatever's better for your GPU. It's the best way to eliminate ghosting. It does have its caveats. Like I said, the environment can look a little bit flat in comparison to the DLSS models, but it doesn't ghost. And then over on GTA, I would have said, look, just super sample up a couple of levels, maybe 1 or 2 levels in super sampling to deal with some of the aliasing, and just call it a day, because it's the best way to deal with the ghosting in this game, because DLSS is failing us. Nvidia is failing us. So obviously, as I said, I wanted to wait on the drivers. So the second half of these drivers is it'll say in the bottom corner of the screen which drivers are running, but it's only the first run of Forza that's on the older drivers. But that being said, the ghosting's still happening. I wanted to just check. I didn't want to just like make this video and then they update the drivers and what I found in the video's just gone. It's kind of pointless making the video, innit? So I wanted to wait for the drivers to see if they fixed it. They didn't fix it. However, I just out of curiosity, I thought to myself, I know Nvidia said, you know, it's for ultra performance, and they kind of tell you not to use it really. So I just thought, do you know what about preset L? Will that help? So I tried that in Forza first. On the left is preset M, which is with the dodgy pixelated ghosting, and on the right is preset L. As you can see, there is a good 10-15% FPS impact for running this, but again, like I said, we're doing the same thing just with extra processing. So wouldn't you expect there to be an FPS impact on that? Just saying. Anyways, shall we let this run? Go away. There we go. So, as you can see, there's a shadow behind it on this one that I couldn't get the same time of the day. They're just opposites. But at this point in time, the pixelated shadowing from behind the car would already be in full show. And as you can see here, let me just move the mic out the way. But as you can see here, on preset L, it's not there. And the world looks freaking awesome. Like, it's... Nvidia came through. I thought they fucked us over, but no, not so much. Not so much at all. This is freaking awesome. The ghosting is completely gone on preset L. It just doesn't show up. Like, you get no ghosting on preset L, whereas obviously over on preset M, you're still getting that ghosting. I don't know whether you can notice, but just outside the shadows, you can see it just started to show up and stuff. Like, so yeah, preset L is the way to play Forza these days. Who'd have thunk it, eh? The preset that Nvidia tell you not to bother with, whatever the extra processing that goes on for that preset on preset L, is just fixing all of the ghosting in these third-person driving games. Fixing all the ghosting. So, yeah, I would recommend you use preset L if you're using Forza Horizon. So, what about over on GTA? Well, let's have a friggin' look, shall we? As you can see, both worlds look absolutely awesome. Again, I tried to get them as close as possible, but so you know that preset M, that's over on the left-hand side here, again, is as night is about to happen. Then I obviously signed out of the game, changed to a L, signed back in, and preset L is basically in the morning after that night. So it's like evening, there's a night in the middle, and then this is the morning. But as you can see, there is the same FPS difference. We've still got that like 10 to 15 FPS drop to go into preset L. But again, it deals with the ghosting. Like, you can see on preset M, you can see the number plate showing up, you can see the exhaust showing up in that pixelated mess that's happening behind the car. And over on preset L, it's not really happening. Now, I will say, it does happen every so often. Like, you'll get the tiniest little bit, like, right up by the car, and it'll just show up like it's gonna happen, and then it just deals with it. So whatever extra processing that they've got going on preset L is well worth having, because it's definitely dealing with it. You can see it's just starting to try and show up at the very bottom there, and then it just buggers off. So it shows up slightly and then goes away, and I can live with that purely because of how goddamn good the game friggin' looks. Like, I can't express it enough. This game looks friggin' awesome. Like, it's beautiful. This is the best that this game has looked. Like, try my settings. This is how I recommend you play the game, because it looks so goddamn good. Yes, you might get that slight bit of pixelation every once in a blue moon behind the car with this preset L, but I promise you, I drove around for ages and I just don't get any of the ghosting on the mirrors or any of the ghosting on anything else. The anti-aliasing looks good. The world, because we've got those ray trace settings pumped up, the world just looks just better, because it's just like it just feels a bit more 3D, because you're letting ray tracing doing all the lighting and stuff. So there's no things being shined on that shouldn't be shined on, if you get me, and stuff like that. Just to make things look a little bit brighter and stuff, which is what Raster has a tendency of doing. Like, if they've set it so that things get lit up that don't need to be lit up, but they want it to be lit up to give a, you know, like a style or whatever, that's not going to happen, because we're using ray tracing for almost everything, because I've changed the settings out. But yeah, guys, this is the best way to play the game. Like, it's the best I've seen the game. Like I said, this is how the game looked in my head 10 years ago when I was on a 360. It really did. Like, this is it's just a really pretty thing. Like, the game looks great, and yeah, the render's not the best, but the game looks great. There was some flickering then. I'm definitely pushing this little RK380, but that's just the rendering side of things. Like, we're talking about the game and the gameplay and stuff. Like, and it's the frame time is flat as anything. You're looking at what, average 120 FPS with 74 FPS lows, so it's better than doing the super sampling, and it just looks better. These two games, surprisingly, what I would recommend you use is DLSS 4.5 preset L. If you've got the performance overhead, you need to understand that going from, say, MSAA times 8 down to over to preset L is probably going to hit your performance by like 40 FPS. But if you've got that headroom, why the hell not? I think the game looks so much better with it. You know, I don't mind the impact of the performance. Like, it's like turning the settings up. Like, it is genuinely like turning the settings up. And like I said, with this 4.5, everyone's been complaining about it being over sharpened. No, it just doesn't need the extra sharpening that you used to put on. Like, it's like, even with DLSS 4, I said that. I was like, everyone's saying it's over sharpened. Just turn the sharpening down. It's because you had the sharpening turned up to deal with the old DLSS. Because it doesn't need that extra sharpening now, just turn the sharpening down and you're all good. Like, I don't use extra sharpening when I'm using this 4.5 model. But the preset L is definitely my new go-to. If I've got the headroom in performance, I just know that it's going to impact my performance. So, like, I know whatever M is impacting, L will impact it an extra 10 FPS. So I kind of know that. So I'll be going into it. So, but if I see headroom in my GPU, I'll be like, yeah, I may as well just put L on it. If you know, if there's something that's limiting it, the GPU, say it's a highly CPU heavy game or something, and there's headroom in the GPU. If I see the GPU with still like 15-20% of performance left in it, I'll just put preset L on, because it's going to give me the same frame rate, isn't it? It's just going to look better. So yeah, I don't know why Nvidia doesn't tell you to use this, or only use it on performance DLSS. Ultra performance or whatever. I don't quite get that, because it's really good. Maybe it's because of the performance hit. They figured that M was enough of a performance hit. They didn't need to add an extra 10. But if you play games that are with third-person driving, this is the best preset for you, as far as I can tell. Now, I don't know about Cyberpunk. I don't own the game. My son owns the game. I might borrow it off him to benchmark it if you want to see that. Shout out the comments and I'll have a look at that. I'll probably be able to borrow it off his Steam. So yeah, give us a shout on that, and we'll sort that out. But look, there's plenty of other people that have benchmarked Cyberpunk, so I'm guessing it doesn't happen in Cyberpunk, because you would have thought, like I said, all the AMD botherers would have leaped on that. Anyways, regardless, yeah, preset L. Use preset L. Do not use preset M, because that fucking pixelated shadow thing going on behind the car is fucking embarrassing, Nvidia. It's fucking embarrassing. It's an absolute joke. The rest of the world looks absolutely freaking awesome. The game looks amazing. Both of them do. But not with that stupid pixelating happen. So use preset L. If you don't want to use preset L, just use the MSAA8 or super sample a couple of levels up. That's my best recommendations for you. But yeah, preset L, who'd have thunk it, guys? It's freaking awesome. Anyways, thanks for watching the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to see more videos like this, hit the like button and share. Join us. One over. Anyways, guys, I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Love you, bye.
Like and subscribe. Thank you.